2,000 years ago, a gentle breeze swept across the central plains of a fractured world. The ashes of a fallen empire still smoldered, waiting for a spark to ignite a new age. Out of the chaos, a single unifying vision emerged from the fertile valleys of the East. This is the story of an era that would shape the destiny of millions, a time of brilliant philosophers, ambitious emperors, and the quiet rustle of untold secrets. We invite you to step back in time and walk the ancient roads of the Han Dynasty. For 4 centuries, this golden age defined the very soul of a civilization. But every great empire begins with a single, improbable step out of the shadows. In the late 3rd century BC, a peasant named Liu Bang dared to look at the throne. He was not born of royalty, but the heavens, it seemed, had chosen a different path. Through shrewd alliances and quiet determination, he gathered the broken pieces of a warring realm. The clash of bronze and iron faded, replaced by the dawn of a new dynasty. He named it Han, after the winding river that nourished his earliest ambitious dreams. A new capital, Chang'an, began to rise, its earthen walls reaching toward the ancient sky. Within these majestic gates, a new order was carefully woven into the fabric of daily life. The mandate of heaven had been claimed, bringing a fragile peace to a weary land. Scholars returned to their ancient scrolls, dusting off the wisdom that had been lost to the flames. Confucian ideals were embraced once more, laying the moral foundation for an enduring society. Law and harmony walked hand in hand, under the watchful, calculating gaze of the emperor. The roots of the Han were finally planted, deep within the rich, unyielding soil. As the decades passed, the dynasty grew restless, looking beyond its ancestral horizons. Under Emperor Wu, the empire stretched its mighty arms toward the great unknown West. He envisioned a world connected, where trade and ideas could flow like a winding river. Brave explorers set forth into the unforgiving desert. Guided only by the distant stars, they braved howling winds and shifting dunes, carving a path through the desolate Tarim Basin. This monumental journey gave birth to the greatest network the ancient world had ever seen. The Silk Road was born, a golden thread linking the Orient to the distant empires of the West. Caravans of camels marched in rhythm, carrying treasures of jade, spices, and shimmering silk. Along these dusty trails, cultures collided, blending traditions in the glow of desert campfires. Garrison towns emerged like mirages, offering sanctuary to weary travelers and wandering merchants. The boundaries of the world were suddenly expanded, pulling the Han into a global tapestry. Wealth poured into the capital, transforming Chang'an into a metropolis of staggering wonder. The markets overflowed with exotic goods, brilliant glass from Rome, and war horses from Fergana. The empire was now a sprawling giant, its influence echoing across towering mountains and vast seas. But with immense power comes the heavy, inescapable burden of defending it. Far from the rugged frontiers, the heart of the empire beat with quiet, brilliant innovation. In the tranquil courtyards of scholars, a profound revolution was silently taking shape. A court official named Kai Lun discovered a way to turn bark and cloth into paper. This delicate, fragile invention would carry the weight of human knowledge for millennia. Philosophers gazed at the night sky, charting the movements of celestial bodies with stunning precision. They crafted intricate armillary spheres, unlocking the silent, mathematical poetry of the cosmos. Even the hidden tremors of the Earth were measured by the world's first brilliant seismoscope. In the sweeping valleys, farmers harnessed new iron plows, transforming the Earth's abundant yield. Water wheels turned with a rhythmic splash, bringing vital life to the sprawling golden fields of grain. The air was filled with the rhythmic clatter of countless looms weaving the emperor's finest silk. Art flourished in vibrant colors, painting vivid scenes of immortal realms and earthly delights. Music echoed through the grand halls, the lingering notes of bronze bells floating on the breeze. Medicine advanced with profound care, balancing the delicate, unseen energies of the human body. The Han Dynasty was not merely surviving, it was painting a masterpiece of human progress. Yet, beneath this veneer of absolute perfection, invisible fractures were beginning to form. To the north, the bitter winds carried the fierce, haunting cries of nomadic warriors. The Xiongnu, masters of the open steppe, cast a long, threatening shadow over the borderlands. Decades of fragile treaties and royal marriages could no longer hold back the rising tide. The emperor ordered the border walls extended, a great serpent of stone winding across the mountains. Tens of thousands of men stood watch, their breath turning to frost in the bitter winter air. Signal fires flared in the pitch black, passing urgent warnings across the endless miles. But the greatest threats to the Han were not always found on the blood-stained battlefield. Inside the labyrinth of the imperial palace, whispers of treason echoed down the painted corridors. Ambitious warlords and cunning officials played a deadly silent game for the highest throne. The court became a gilded cage of paranoia, where a single misplaced word could mean ruin. For a brief, tumultuous moment, the dynasty was usurped by a visionary scholar named Wang Mang. His radical dreams shattered the delicate peace, plunging the empire into a bitter, chaotic divide. Though the Han would rise once again, the deep scars of this betrayal would never truly fade. The eastern capital of Luoyang became the new heart of a wounded, cautious empire. The golden age was slowly dimming, giving way to the amber hues of an approaching twilight. As the second century slowly unspooled, the burden of time began to weigh upon the dragon's back. Famines swept through the impoverished countryside, turning fertile earth to cracked, lifeless clay. Desperate voices rose in the choking dust, seeking a salvation that the distant emperor could no longer provide. The Yellow Turban Rebellion ignited, a tempest of yellow silk and desperate spiritual fury. The heavens, once an ally, seemed to withdraw their mandate, abandoning the sons of Han. Warlords fractured the great, sprawling empire, carving it into independent, ambitious strongholds. The unity that had defined an entire era began to dissolve like morning mist over the Yangtze. Chang'an and Luoyang, once shining beacons, fell victim to the tragic ashes of endless civil war. The mighty Han Dynasty finally collapsed, leaving behind a fractured, deeply mourning world. But the spirit of this majestic era refused to be buried beneath the drifting sands of time. The laws, the art, and the written word endured long after the last emperor vanished. They laid an unshakable bedrock of culture that future generations would proudly build upon. Even today, thousands of years later, a people still proudly call themselves the children of Han. Their legacy is a whisper in the wind, a beautiful reminder of the fleeting nature of empire, a story of human triumph and frailty, echoing forever in the silent, starlit corridors of history.